Today, I'm joining everyone's favorite group in the Last of Us universe, which is by far the friendly Seraphites.
Are you wearing my backpack?
The Seraphites are so kind. They have a lot of rules though, which I'm mostly going to follow for this challenge, so let's list them out.
You can't touch this stuff. It's old world.
I can only scavenge off of dead Seraphites or areas that are clearly set up by the Seraphites. The only things I'll pick up outside of this are arrows and crossbow bolts, since as far as I know, only Seraphites use these. This flashlight is also old world, so no using that either, and this game gets very dark, in a literal sense, so I will be struggling through quite a few sections.
When you're lost in the darkness, look for the light.
Abby, are you listening at all? I just said no flashlight. I also have to kill every wolf I come across. Okay, but what about the parts with infinite enemies?
There are exceptions.
I'll address them as they come up, but honestly, I'm not going to dwell on them too much. Oh, and I love suffering, so I'm doing this on Grounded, but New Game Plus. Why New Game Plus? Well, remember the time I played the game without scavenging? Of course you don't, it was like 4 years ago. But a New Game Plus save file from this actually allows me to get the crossbow and bow right away with no other added benefits. Okay, let's go. Starting in Jackson, I forced Tommy to carry the burden of knowing I doomed humanity, then rode my horsey, and jump scared Ellie, before playing some sick music. Remember this, Ellie, it will haunt you later in life. Fast forward to the present, and Ellie did not forgive Seth, whose bigot sandwiches weren't Seraphite approved, and neither was this book. Why was this man reading the dictionary to little kids? Bro, give them some Dr. Seuss, what the hell is this? I beat up some children, and Jesse rewarded me with a rifle. Okay, but I'm not using this, until I get some ammo from Seraphites. But now it's time to be Abby. Abby, what the hell is wrong with you? Owen and I went to see Jackson, but Owen wanted to turn around, so naturally I killed myself. I open my inventory, and even though it's New Game Plus, I don't get the crossbow until Abby's half of the game, so I only have a pistol. And I have no choice but to shoot this first runner because I can't melee it, and I can't crawl backwards. Oh, and I immediately chose to rebind my flashlight to something I wouldn't accidentally press. Cutting back to Ellie, Dinah and I rode to the grocery store to kill infected where, as with every playthrough, I had to use a disgusting bottle, stab some infected, and then pick up crafting supplies, which I didn't actually have to use, and I won't, since they're old world. This first section, I had to wait a while and run around until Dinah decided to kill these clickers, since I basically had to go knife only for Jackson. Also, more than a few sections, including this checkpoint, started with the flashlight on, so for this challenge, I just immediately turned it off. The next area was huge, so running here wasn't as bad, and Dinah took care of business. Back to Abby, and I ran from the horde, then found Joel and Tommy, and ran with them back to the mansion.
Joel Miller.
Abby, why do you know his government name? Just call him Joel the Last of Us, like everyone else. Oh my god. Look at all these ovens. What do they need this many for? Nothing else of note in this house. We loaded up on supplies, and it was time to head out to Seattle. But Joel didn't come with us, because, it was a girls' trip. I started off the trip by wasting all of my ammo, aside from 2 arrows, and it was a long trip there, so we needed to refuel Shimmer with some gas. I don't know how horses work. I ran past the infected outside the synagogue to get the gas can, and snuck by the group in the courtroom before fighting the infected in this garage, knife only, and Dinah helped a bit with the clickers.
Could be a while before we run into Abby and her friends.
It's gonna be like 20 hours of game time, Dinah. I knifed some more infected, and we had some good chats. Alright, Shimmer, is this Seattle trip a boom or a doom? Okay, you didn't even try the chicken bake. And this is what it felt like going back to school after being on break. I got to start killing wolves now, so first I stabbed these 2, but I did have to waste a couple bullets that magically appeared. I'm honest. The school wasn't actually too bad, aside from the first hallway, since I could basically use a lot of stealth in the courtyard, and Dinah even helped out. And I had to clear off this rooftop. Okay, get off the roof. Wait, damn, why'd he kind of hit that pose? But leaving the school, this next section was super spread out and had more wolves than I could count. But I could still count them, mostly. First was the dry cleaners, the bookstore, the basketball court. Nice shot. I don't know what to call this last area. It's like 3 different buildings. This was pretty hard to track, but I got them all.
Stop. Tripwire.
Oh, thanks, Dinah. Anyway, I was kind of concerned I'd need a brick once I got to the tripwires, but I could actually use one arrow to destroy these 2 tripwires, and I could keep reusing it like this guy from Guardians of the Galaxy. Wait, he whistled and shot an arrow? Was Mary Poppins a Seraphite? We made it to the radio tower, and Leo was riddled with arrows, which would normally be great, but they were all broken. The newsroom was a bit annoying to clear, but I did that and just bolted out. Technically, these wolves behind the gate are killable, and so are these 2 up here, but the 2 up top disappeared when I restarted the checkpoint, and I couldn't kill the 4 of them with 2 arrows, plus these guys up here spawned infinitely, so I just ran for it. And in the subway, this group of 4 wolves was actually a major pain. Even though it's extremely dark down here, grounded enemies have absurd sight and awareness, so they managed to snipe me like this. The clickers didn't help much since they mostly just targeted me, and when the wolves ran, they would run into me and just immediately shoot me. So I had to be smart, and I managed to kill all of them with some help from the infected. At this point I was done with non-infected wolves, so the rest of the subway just relied on me being able to maneuver my way through the pitch black, and honestly I still don't know how I got through this part in one attempt, but I'll take it. We made it to the theater and Ellie got to rock out just like Joel. And flashback. Joel pushed me into the water, so I showed him.
Welcome to Earth.
Yeah.
Nope, sorry Joel, this is old world. Cut to day 2, which is Hillcrest. People complain a lot about this section, and I usually don't find it that bad because I know some easy stealth strats, but trying to kill everyone here was a completely different story. The good thing about Hillcrest is that every section has a lot of overgrown grass, but also a lot of open space, and a lot of dogs. That Ellie was happy to pet. Killing wolves in my rules only meant the humans, but the dogs were attached to some of them, and let me tell you, these dogs were way more eager to give Ellie a kiss than I remember. But it's a good thing Ellie's a dog person. So even though I usually hate killing dogs in this game, let's just say I sent a few to the farm upstate. But don't worry, their owners were there to greet them. Probably. I picked up an arrow on my way to the next section and realized that maybe New Game Plus was a waste because this stalker is where I get the bow, and I had used 0 arrows up to this point since I didn't scavenge any before this. Nice. Also, this stalker was so greedy because I could literally see 2 more arrows on his back, but onto the big street, I guess. I didn't have a great strat here because there were so many wolves all over the place. Well, at least Spider-Man 2 updated. I felt like anytime I got a kill, someone was watching or would soon wander into me. At some point, I got a checkpoint and ran with that, but even so, the checkpoints didn't help much, and even though I died a ridiculous amount of times, the checkpoints never seemed to do anything for me. I mean, what am I even supposed to do with this? They were so egregiously bad, and the game never seemed to give them after I got kills, so I killed certain NPCs so many times. Keeping track of kills and checkpoints here was a complete mess, and the game also just stopped giving me any checkpoints for like an hour. So yeah, trying to kill everyone at this part was brutal.
She killed Derek!
And I'll do it again.
Over here!
Okay, I guess I have to do it again now. The dog's reaction times were also insane. How did this dog get the jump on me? But this one ran right by me, dumbass. And this guy's vision was insane. I don't even know what happened here. And the game randomly deciding to kill me once the animation for me stabbing the dog started. Okay, cool. Where did this dog even come from? After what felt like ages, I finally finished this part of Hillcrest. The next area had 4 enemies, and then 4 more enemies. I had to waste an arrow on this girl behind the fence, and this guy behind another fence, but I actually let the dog live here. I had to rely on some up-close arrow kills in this basement, since if I melee killed these people with weapons, Ellie would automatically steal them, and using wolf weapons was strictly against my rules. Same for Machete Girl. And on to Jesse. Yeah, we killed these wolves. The ones behind us were infinitely spawning though, and I was locked into the car, so I just stabbed this one and we kept moving. I had to shoot the driver and this clicker, and then flashback to 2 years earlier. Tommy bullied me into using his rifle, and since I didn't have a bow, the rest of this section would be knife only. Inside the hotel was dark, but once I stumbled onto the infected section, I could just stealth kill all of them, which actually took quite a few tries. And Joel shot this clicker at the end, which somehow didn't call the horde.
What do you say we give up?
Okay. Ellie automatically turned on her flashlight, summoning the the bloater as punishment for using something old world. I started trying to damage the bloater at first in the darkness, which didn't really go well, and then I realized I didn't have to do that. Just run around while Joel shot at it for a little bit until it charged at me. Easy. Now flash forward to the second half of day 2. I wasted these bullets from the car section and got excited to meet the Seraphites. Oh, and can't forget this group of wolves that will only come out to ambush Ellie at the workbench. Even though technically they're deserters, I don't discriminate, I kill all wolves. Well, okay, maybe not the dogs. I ran through this office building with stalkers, but had to take out a few in this lower section. And now to enter my homeland, the Seraphites. So I actually ended up killing all of them for resources, but they basically gave me nothing except for 1 arrow and a hammer. Thanks guys. I also tried to join this group in the forest, and they also basically gave me nothing except for 2 pistol bullets. Oh, you can live. No, never mind, PS Vita's old world. The hospital was another section with so many wolves. I had to rely a lot on stealth, but even so, I kept getting spotted. With determination, luck, and a lot of rage, I cleared out this whole ground floor. This took way too long. Nora and I headed downstairs, where I got to kill more wolves with some clicker assistance.
You're her.
Damn right I'm her. I killed Nora, returned to the theater, and then had the day 3 flashback with Joel at the hospital.
Just say it.
My name is Jeff.
Oh my god.
For day 3, I got to bring Jesse with me, and I kinda messed up on this first read of wolves, but it worked out. The next section took a few tries, but Ellie had a fun time and even got to play with dogs. That's literally exactly what I'm doing actually. Then Jesse wanted to go meet Tommy and I wanted to kill more wolves, so we had to split up. In the mall, I had to swim a lot and slowly take out the enemies, though I did build up a pretty nice collection of bodies over here by the end of it.
Won't you fly me to the moon and let me play among the stars? Let me see what spring is like on Jupiter and Mars. In other words, hold my hand. Ooh.
Right. Boat.
Finally, I cleared him out, and I took a boat to the aquarium and witnessed some Seraphites killing a group of wolves. The bloater was coming up, so I offered a trade to these Seraphites for some ammo. In exchange for killing them all, I think I got a pretty good deal. An axe, a pistol bullet, 2 arrows, and another pistol bullet. Okay, why couldn't every group give me this much? At the arcade just before the bloater fight, I found several dead Seraphite bodies that had left me even more ammo. A shotgun shell, a revolver bullet, and even a machete with full durability. I was getting spoiled, and it wasn't even my birthday. It was someone's though. I had been dreading this for the first half of the game, but finally it was time to fight the bloater. The second bloater. This fight wasn't as bad as I expected, but it still took me nearly an hour to work through. I was focused on hitting every single shot and constantly missed, so I would have to restart. The runners were a major pain, so I had to keep moving and pray I was doing enough damage, but I focused on headshots, and I think with all my arrows hitting, I ended up killing the bloater without using 3 of my pistol bullets. Some stuff happened at the aquarium before we returned to the theater to close out Ellie's half of the game. Pretty solid wolf kill count, and with such few resources, this was a struggle, but I made it through. Now it was time for Abby's half of the game, where unfortunately I would have to play alongside wolves, rather than killing them until day 3. Right away I literally had no other way out this window except to use a bottle.
You do what you need to do to get it done.
Yeah, exactly. And then it was time to walk through the stadium.
Would you please tell him to get rid of this? Es horrible.
I don't speak Spanish, but I think he said Manny looks fine as Abby started with a lot of ammo, but luckily I could waste it all at the gun range.
Down for some friendly competition?
The loser cleans the apartment.
I'm requesting that gun next time.
Yeah, the gun's why I won.
And right away I had to start with this Seraphite chase, so I basically just did nothing until the game automatically finished it. Technically I get unlimited rifle ammo for this part, but I just couldn't kill my fellow Seraphites here. Okay, a little on the nose, Mel. After an hour of dying, we made it through. I had to waste more ammo and then just force Mel and Manny to do all the work on these infected. We walked down the railroad track, and once again, I got very little ammo from these Seraphites. Though I did get a pistol bullet, and I also got a rifle bullet in my neck. This gas station ambush had a lot of gunfire, but only 1 Seraphite actually dropped ammo. So were the rest of you just using air rifles, or what the hell? On to the fob.
Feeling better?
Pain meds are kicking in, so yeah.
You will die in 2 days. I'll make sure of it.
Who's in that body bag?
Whew, thank God, I thought it was someone important. I stayed awake for all the cutscenes and then headed out to find Owen. May she guide you.
Yeah, guide you right off a cliff.
Well, okay then, Abby. We passed Martyr's Gate and the Chinatown sniper section gave me almost no ammo, except for this arrow and a Jeep tire. I made it to the Seraphite hideout and we are on grounded mode. I don't know why I even bothered looking for pickups, but I got half a rag and a quarter of a blade. How do you even get a quarter of a blade? The next section went kinda hard, but I didn't end up killing everyone. And I can't even be mad at this power move. Yeah, no one wanted to give me ammo, so I just bolted. First it was flashback time, and then on to the forest.
They are nested with sin.
Not me though. We escaped the forest and...
Are you wearing my backpack?
Just greedy of her. But she gave me a free weapon, so that was cool.
You can't touch this stuff. It's old world.
Okay, true. I was realizing that I couldn't see anything at this part. Playing The Last of Us Blind Challenge when. The problem was that A, I literally couldn't see anything, and B, the footage would be unwatchable, so I did opt to increase the brightness a little bit through the next encounter only. It was still dark as hell though, so I also raised the contrast and exposure. Still no flashlight though. For this part, I knew I would need to kill 5 clickers, and I only had so much ammo, so I ran past these runners outside, stealth killed the infected inside, and then boosted Lev and Yara over this door. That way, I could use this giant axe to kill 1 clicker and save on bullets. Okay, I actually ended up using this on 2 runners because they kept hitting me, so I don't know why I lied. Unfortunately, my checkpoint was kind of bad, so I got screwed out of 1 crossbow bolt, even though I recovered it. You may ask, well, why didn't you just restart the whole encounter then? I don't know. That's actually a good point. This encounter took me many tries, and I always find it to be one of the hardest parts of the game, because it's dark and such a tiny space where runners constantly grabbed me, meaning instant death. I had to perfect my dodging and then give up because it was too frustrating. Like, how is this not a headshot? And I got to the end and somehow choked. But I beat it again on the next attempt and set my brightness back to normal. I ditched the kids and went to the aquarium, and this fairy had quite a few bolts for me. Oh, and this is normally where Abby gets the crossbow. I sprinted past the infected here and to the aquarium where I had to waste 2 more bolts to get inside, where I then met Owen on his boat. Huh, the water isn't that rough. Why is the boat rocking so much? Okay, on to day 2, where Abby had insane levels of guilt, so I snuck by the Seraphite group and they were happy to let me walk right by. Lev was extremely thankful to me, and I brought back Yara for Mel to heal.
Your friends are wolves too?
No, I hate them. Lev and I needed to go to the hospital, which meant climbing up super tall buildings that I struggled with.
Show off.
It's not that hard.
Thanks, Lev. But at least these buildings were used by Seraphites, which meant possibly more stuff I was allowed to scavenge. The Seraphites had a holster in this room they set up, so I took it. I played through the next encounter quite a few times trying to find an optimal strategy. I didn't feel like killing everyone, so I sort of stealthed my way through, and along the way, grabbed 2 bullets, a crossbow bolt, and a machete. I got hit with an arrow, but we'll call this a win. Okay, I'm probably throwing her off ledges a little too much here. Sorry, Abby. At least we had a nice hotel to stay at, and there was even a pool. I gave Lev a flashlight since I wouldn't be using one, and this place was dark.
If you die, I'll be stuck here.
Okay. I made it back with a mask for Lev and just rushed through the hotel since I could barely even see. I couldn't kill any of these wolves sadly, but I basically already did as Ellie, so that's a win. Why is this girl just staring at me like that? It's genuinely unsettling. Does she know what I did? Time to go to ground zero. And let me just say, it is dark as hell down here.
Let's do this.
I juked these clickers with ease and then met the big guy. So kind of disappointing, but unsurprisingly, I didn't have nearly enough ammo to kill the Rat King, and no crossbow ammo spawned down here. However, I did have just enough ammo to get the armored stalker to break off, who I found out you actually can't kill until the next encounter. So I had to pick up ammo after this point, and I basically had to pick up and use everything. I even picked up some crafting supplies, but didn't need them, and ultimately this just made me not craft anything for the rest of the game, since I couldn't put them down after picking them up. At this point, I had no ammo, but I demolished this armored stalker with my bare fists. And with that, I headed back to the aquarium.
What happened to us?
Maybe we stopped looking for the light.
This corny ass response.
You want to do right by these kids? Get out of their lives before you screw them over too.
Mel, it's kind of funny you say that, because speaking of screwing, I was finally done walking around some more and headed into the sniper section with nothing in my inventory. But it could have been worse. Manny had nothing in his brain. Rip. But good news, now it was time for the Seraphite Island, which meant more chances to scavenge. Though, I got humbled by this first encounter real quick. I got tired after a while and just did a complete stealth strat instead of trying to grab an extra bullet, though this last kill was extremely personal, and so was this one. But it gave me a little bit of extra ammo. Seraphites also had an upgrade book, which was useless for me, but a neat little collectible that I could bring back to show Owen. The farmland encounter is one of the easiest stealth sections in my opinion, so I grabbed some bullets from this building, killed a guy, and snuck through. Wait, what's this? A health pickup from the Seraphites? My first of the game? And a crossbow bolt. I made it to Lev and Mama Lev. I don't know her name. Eventually, I made it back to Lev, who was with his mom. And speaking of Lev's ma, he had a lot of trauma.
You're a piece of shit, Abby.
Okay, yeah, that was pretty bad. Shout out Yar for saving me and Lev, but like, she couldn't have died a day earlier, so we wouldn't need to do that whole Rat King fight.
You're my people.
Damn right, we're both Seraphites. And now it was time for the first encounter as Abby, where I could actually kill some wolves. I got to be a little aggressive here, but also had to draw in some of them with stealth, because the inside of this brewery was still pretty open. The rest of the encounters had a mix of wolves and Seraphites, but the Seraphites sucked in this first encounter, so I had to give them a little help. I made it through the overpass area and onto the horse, where I tried to kill as many wolves as I could, but some of these were literally impossible to kill, so I didn't waste too much time on it. I also got 6 pistol bullets after this horse ride, which, unlike the Seraphite wolf chase, I opted to keep. I can't really say these are Seraphite bullets, but I was kind of out of it by this point, and since we're on Seraphite land anyway, I just used them. Which is a really flimsy argument, but this is literally the last point in the game where I had to kill wolves, so let me live. I had to use up all of my ammo here and decided to just kill everyone. I had to kill this beautiful giant Seraphite before going back to the aquarium and then the theaters. Okay, knowing she hit markered Tommy's face from this range makes me a little less mad that some of my shots weren't headshots. Abby beat up Ellie and then fast forward to the farm with Dinah and we all lived happily ever after. Yeah, well, so not really. Okay, no flashlight, Ellie. I don't care if it's traumatic. Abby and Lev were in Santa Barbara and Abby got jumped. So Ellie took a Santa Barbara trip too. I had to waste most of the ammo, which was really bad because there were no more Seraphites to scavenge from, so I had to pray that I would pick up another arrow. Having such limited resources meant I only had one viable strat for this first part. Running for my life. I fed this guy to a clicker.
Tasty snack.
And then onto Abby. I had to use a lot of pacifist strats for the Rattler sections, and these took forever, though I stabbed a few of them. In the final area, I did pick up one single arrow, which was massive, but basically the game gave me a ton of useless checkpoints. There were just so many armored enemies with submachine guns. What do I even do against this? It was extremely difficult to find a good stealth strat with how often I was spotted, and if I was spotted, I did not last long. It took me a couple hours for this encounter, and even after getting to the final part of it, I found it super difficult with how quickly the enemies shot me. I had 2 arrows for this whole chapter, and I ended up using them to distract this last group of rattlers, since killing one of them did nothing when there were 5 more left to shoot at me. Distracting them also didn't work 99% of the time, but I finally got a lucky break and... I finally got lucky and escaped. I beat this one up, then headed to fight Abby. One last wolf to kill. Oh wait, never mind, she's cool. One last guitar solo later, it was done. I had finally become a Seraphite. Ellie, we accomplished something. You could look a little happier about it. Thanks for watching. Subscribe if you enjoy challenges like this, and I'll have more Last of Us content before Season 2 comes out next year. And GTA 2, I didn't forget about you. But until then, may your survival be long, and may your death be swift. No, wait, that's what the wolves said.